If objections make you nervous, you're not losing because of the client. You're losing because you don't understand structure. An objection is not rejection. It's just a request for clarification. And today, I'm going to show you how to handle objections logically, okay? Not emotionally, but logically. Because emotional salespeople argue. They argue all the time, front and back, right? But strategic professionals diagnose. So what is actually an objection? So let's remove the drama. An objection is simply one of three things: lack of emotion, lack of certainty, or lack of urgency. That's it. Nothing else. It is never personal. Okay? So when someone says, I need to think about it, okay, I can't afford it, or let me talk to my spouse. We all heard those before, right? They're not attacking you. They're just revealing uncertainty. And uncertainty is solvable. So here's the logical structure. Okay, here's the logical structure. It's 4 steps. Okay. Step number 1 is to isolate it. Number 2, clarify. Number 3, reframe it. And number 4, confirm it. See, this removes emotion and it inserts process. So let's talk about step 1, which is isolate. Okay. Isolate the real objection. When someone says, hey, you know what? I need to think about it. Please don't respond with pressure. Okay. You want to respond with precision. Remember, we're in professional industry. We're not selling jackets on the corner, right? So you want to say something along the lines of course. Okay. When you say think about it, what specifically would you like to think through? That's a simple question. It's not pressure, it's not threatening. Now you've isolated the real concern. Because think about this. Think about it is not an objection. It's just a placeholder. Okay? So that's step 1. Step 2 is to clarify. You want to clarify the logic. So let me give you a few examples of that. If the client says it's too expensive, we already heard that before, right? It's too expensive. A logical response can be compared to what? Simple, right? Then you want to follow with, is the concern the monthly payment or the long-term commitment? Okay? See, when you do that, now you're narrowing down the variables. Excuse me. Emotion creates fog, right? But logic creates clarity. Step number 3 is to reframe it. But you want to reframe it without arguing. Okay? You do not combat objections. You don't bump heads with objections. You restructure perspective. So let me give you an example of this. All right. When the client says it's too expensive, the next thing you want to do is to reframe that question. Okay, you can phrase it something similar to this. Would it be fair to say the real concern isn't the cost, it's whether the value justifies the cost? See, when you ask that, now you've shifted from price to value. Professionals sell value. Non-professionals defend price. All right. Step 4 is to confirm the resolution. All right. So after answering the question, okay, you've answered the question, you want to make sure you confirm the resolution. Make sure y'all on the same page. And you can say something similar to this. Does that address the concern, or is there something else we should clarify? If they say yes, ding, 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 go ahead and move forward. If they hesitate, there's another objection. All right? Never move forward with unresolved doubt, because it's just going to show back up later on, because that will hurt your business. See, doubt kills decisions later. Okay? And in the financial world, we have to work with financial objections daily. Okay? And I'm going to give you the three most common financial objections. All right? As a financial professional, you'll hear, I can't afford it. That's probably a top one. I need to think about it. It's definitely a top one. Or I want to wait. There's really no other objections that you'll get on a consistent basis. Okay? If so, if you did get more objections on a consistent basis, okay, it's something in your process you need to tweak. All right, so let's break them down. Let's break those ones I just mentioned down. Let's break them down logically. So first, let's start with the objection, I can't afford it. All right. Now, I can't afford it is translated to them saying this wasn't a priority in my current situation. All right. So how do you respond to that? You respond to that in something similar to this. This is what you say. Is it that the money doesn't exist, or it hasn't been allocated yet? See, that simple question shifts responsibility back to structure, not emotion. You want to stay away. You want to stay at structure. So what if they say, I need to think about it? Okay. I need to think about it is like them saying that they're uncertain. All right. So how do you respond to someone saying, I want to think about it? Okay. How do you respond? I would say something similar to this. Is there a specific concern we haven't addressed yet? When you ask that small question, you're inviting transparency into the conversation. Now you can really get somewhere. Okay? So what if they say, I want to wait? All right? They say, I want to wait. When they say they want to wait, they're basically saying that you're asking me to do, what you're asking me to do doesn't feel too urgent for me right now. All right? I want you to think of this, right? Just imagine if your prospect had a terminal illness and you had the cure. They wouldn't want to wait because they wouldn't want to wait because they would feel the urgency. Okay? So this is how I would respond to someone who said, hey, I want to wait. Okay? I would say straight out. I would say this straight out. What would need to change for this to feel urgent to you? Okay? When you say that, now they must define delay logically. And most people can't. All right? So we don't panic. We analyze. We don't argue. We deconstruct. Okay? Objection handling is not persuasion. It's a pattern. Okay? It's pattern recognition. If you understand human decision making, okay, objections become predictable. All right? And predictable problems are solvable. The mistake most professionals make is this. They react emotionally. All right? They talk too fast. They over-explain. They defend themselves. Or they lower their tone. See, when you defend, you lose authority. Once you start defending, you lose authority. When you diagnose, you gain control. All right? Control the structure, not the person. You can't control anybody. Control the structure. So if you want to master objection handling, Stop memorizing rebuttals. Stop trying to remember all that. Start understanding logic. Every objection fits into a category, and every category has a structure. All right? Structure wins long term.